It started as a joke, or at least, that's what people thought. A man, awkward and shaky, films himself in a dimly lit room. He mumbles, "Today I will show you how to pick up a blue chair off the ground."
The camera jitters. His voice is nasal, almost robotic. You laugh. It's funny, sort of, but it's also strange. And then you click another, and another, and another, until suddenly you realize you're no longer laughing. You're watching someone slowly spiral into something much darker. This is the story of AlanTutorial, a YouTube channel that appeared innocent on the surface, but over time became one of the platform's most unsettling mysteries. What began as nonsense became discomfort, and eventually, fear. It's more than a weird internet story. It's a warning about what happens when you turn someone's life into entertainment. The channel AlanTutorial launched in 2011. Its very first video was titled, "How to Pick Up a Blue Chair Off the Ground," and that's exactly what it was. Alan trying clumsily to lift a plastic chair. No intro, no explanation, no music. But it was weirdly fascinating. He wasn't making fun of tutorial videos, at least not in a typical way. It felt like something deeper, almost like performance art, except more chaotic, more unhinged. Then came more tutorials. Tutorial on how to do a real tutorial. Alan mumbles instructions while placing random objects on a table. None of it makes sense. Tutorial on how to pick up dirt from the ground. He scoops up dirt with his bare hands and puts it in a bag. There was no punchline, no clear joke, just randomness. And yet the internet couldn't look away. A small following started to grow. People posted about it on Reddit. The channel gained a cult status among fans of surreal humor. But even early on, something felt off. His room never changed. The lighting was always dim. Alan's voice was flat, almost robotic. He rarely showed his full face. Some believed it was all part of an act, but others weren't so sure. Occasionally, things in the background would change subtly. Furniture would disappear, clutter would grow. Alan sometimes seemed more disheveled than usual. There were hints of bruises, smudges of dirt. These weren't makeup or props. They felt too real, too unplanned. By the end of 2011, the tone of the channel had undeniably shifted. Alan's tutorials grew darker. His behavior became erratic. His speech slurred more. His movements seemed increasingly compulsive, like he was being forced to make the videos but didn't know why. In Tutorial on How to Cry, Alan sits in a corner and rocks back and forth. The camera rolls for over a minute in silence. He doesn't speak. He doesn't even look at the viewer. It's raw, uncomfortable, and deeply unsettling. Then the titles changed. Random strings of letters, broken sentences, symbols and characters that no longer resembled English. The videos became harder to follow. Some would end abruptly. Others would be filled with long stretches of silence or strange mechanical noises. People started trying to decode them. Reddit threads sprang up analyzing frame-by-frame footage, theorizing about hidden meanings, clues, messages. Some thought it was an elaborate ARG, others thought it was a man documenting his breakdown. And suddenly, the uploads stopped. No new videos for weeks, then months. Fans speculated wildly. Had the channel ended? Had Alan finally been found by someone? A friend, a family member, maybe the authorities? Just as it all seemed to fade, Alan returned. But this was not the Alan we remembered. When he returned, he was no longer filming inside. He wasn't in his cluttered room with the dim yellow lamp. He was outdoors. Alan now wandered through empty streets, slept behind dumpsters, filmed himself dragging heavy bags through alleys and fields. His clothing was torn, his hair unkempt, his face hollow. There's one video where he lies on a discarded mattress in a field, holding the camera above his face. He doesn't speak, just breathes. The wind howls faintly in the background. In another, he's crouched in an alleyway, eating what looks like powder off a paper plate with his fingers. His hands are shaking. The tutorials were gone. These weren't performances. They were surveillance. Raw, haunting, voyeuristic glimpses into what appeared to be a man losing everything. The line between fiction and reality had disappeared. Comments poured in. "This isn't funny anymore. Where is he? Does anyone know who he is in real life?" People were scared. Not just for Alan, but of what this all said about us, that we had watched a man fall apart and thought it was entertainment. And the worst part, we still kept watching. Eventually, Alan stops appearing outdoors. He's indoors again, but the room is different. It's not the cluttered, dim-lit space we knew before. It's bare. Cement floors, blank walls, harsh lighting, a small mattress in the corner, no windows. It looks like a storage unit, or worse, a holding cell. Alan's movements become stranger. He paces in circles. He stacks objects, bottles, books, cans, in repetitive, compulsive patterns. He stares at the walls, mumbling unintelligible phrases. He arranges piles of what appears to be white powder. He draws odd shapes on the ground with string. And then there are the sounds. In several videos there are bangs, footsteps above him, faint metallic clanking, sometimes something louder, like a door slamming. Alan doesn't react to them. He just continues, as if nothing is wrong. Viewers begin to panic. Theories explode across Reddit, YouTube, and 4chan. He's being held captive. He's in an abandoned asylum. He's spiraled into full psychosis. This is all still part of a grand, surreal ARG, but there's no confirmation. Alan doesn't explain. He doesn't speak. He simply uploads, and the uploads keep getting worse. He films himself placing food in corners of the room. He eats off the ground. His clothes become dirtier. At one point, he appears to have a bandage wrapped around his hand. Another time, he stares into the camera for nearly 2 minutes, unblinking. The videos have transitioned fully into psychological horror. But the horror comes not from jump scares or monsters. It comes from the, what are we watching? Why are we watching? And why can't we look away? The theories surrounding AlanTutorial are as varied as they are chilling. An alternate reality game, an interactive fiction story disguised as real life. According to this idea, Alan is a character. The videos were part of a carefully planned narrative designed to disturb and intrigue. The coded titles, the hidden messages, the progression from silly to terrifying, it was all scripted. AlanTutorial was a dark commentary on YouTube culture. A slow burn project mocking the obsession with views, the way creators are pushed to extremes to stay relevant. The nonsense tutorials, a satire, the spiral, a metaphor for burnout and isolation. A man documenting his actual decline. No script, no game, no art. Just a person who used YouTube as an outlet during a mental health crisis. Maybe he had no one else. Maybe he didn't even understand how public the platform was. Maybe we watched him fall apart and did nothing. The truth? We still don't know. What makes AlanTutorial so haunting is that it exists in a space between explanations. Every theory makes sense. Every theory feels wrong. That ambiguity is what turned it into a digital legend. And then, silence. For years, Alan disappeared. No new videos, no announcements. The channel was still online, but the story felt over. Until it wasn't. In 2017, a new video appeared. It was short, less than a minute. The title was Random Letters and Numbers. The content? A familiar room. A dim yellow light. Alan, or someone who looked like him, stood behind a table, arranging objects again. No voice, no context, just Alan. It looked like the earliest videos, but it didn't feel the same. There was a weight to it, a ghostliness. Viewers were stunned. Was this closure, a reset, a final goodbye to the channel? Or was it something worse? A signal that the spiral never truly ended. No follow-up came, no explanation. The video just sat there, and that's where the story remains. AlanTutorial is more than a weird corner of YouTube. It's a mirror that reflects the dark side of internet culture, our obsession with voyeurism, our hunger for stories, our inability to look away from someone else's pain. Whether it was performance or reality, Alan made us complicit. We laughed at his nonsense. Then we worried, then we feared, but we always kept watching. A blue chair, a plastic bag, a locked room, a man who disappeared. AlanTutorial is a digital ghost story, one that still haunts the edges of the internet. The channel remains online. The videos are still there, waiting.